You come from a place where I was a principal, and then I joined Mzansi Productions. We were all the same. It was a company of soloists, which is really, really something so beautiful. For instance, we have to adjust to the algorithm of today. You know,
100%.
so go slowly, but you go slowly, but you don't get results. So it requires a lot of patience, a lot of respect for how this little mind works today.
100%.
Like I can say, fortunately, I mean, I've done international competitions, like it's coming out of my ears. And, I'm so grateful that it was at a time where contemporary was contemporary, classical was classical, neoclassical was classical. Everything was kept quite traditional and in the technical aspects.
Hello, dancer. Welcome to another episode of Freedom Podcast. Today, we are so happy to have in the studio an amazing choreographer and a professional dancer that I have had the pleasure to work with. Also, she has made a really big impact for the Black ballerinas in South Africa. Please, let's welcome Kitty Phetla. Hello, Kitty. Hello.
How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Congratulations on your podcast.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you.
To see you, yeah.
Nice to see you too. It's been long, hey?
It's been a while.
when was the last time that I saw you?
When I came to do class at your company.
That was last year, no?
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah. But before that, I didn't see you because remember I left in 2015.
Yes.
And then I didn't see you anymore.
I think prior to last year, the last time we saw each other was on stage.
Mama, yeah. I think was my last Don Q. I think that was doing Don Q.
Yeah, so because did you do Cinderella? No, you didn't
No,
do Snow White,
I did Cinderella the first time.
One, yeah. I think it was Don Q.
Don Q, yeah. I think because that was my last show. It's been long, eh?
It's been a while.
How are you? How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad that you are here. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the chat.
Nice. Yeah. No, like I always keeping saying to my all the guests that I have that it's just like conversation between two dancers, like because I think all the new generation wants to know who they have in South Africa, where to look up to, because sometimes you say, I have dancer, but I don't know them, like in Cuba, you go to the theater and then the new one, the baby, they know who are the principal dancer. And I want that for South Africa because you have made a lot of impact, like I say, for South Africa and all the dancers as well. And if you ask them, who is Kitty Phetla, they will be like, and you ask them, who is Marianela? Marianela, but she's not living in South Africa. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I want that. I want that the new have this, hey, let's go. So I think we're going to start from the top, like beginning. How do you start in dance? How was your beginning in dancing?
So I grew up very much as a tomboy. So I went to a school called Orange Grove Primary, and I had a choice between karate and ballet. So I was quite decisive about the fact that I'm going to choose karate,
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I had two brothers, so I was like, I want to do everything that they're doing. But then, I don't know, something happened that day. There was a door on the, I think, right was karate, and then left was ballet. I'm not sure, but if I see it in my mind, then I peeped through the one door and I saw Martin Schumberg standing. He looked so regal and so beautiful, this long neck.
Wow.
And I was like, man, can I look like that? And then I never looked back ever since then.
Wow.
And then Martin took me under his wing and really took good care of me. And a bunch of other Black dancers as well.
Sure, that's amazing.
Yeah. So he stopped dancing very early. I think in his early 30s, which is considered very young, especially for a male dancer. And then he came back to the country. He was coming straight from Antwerp.
Okay.
And he decided that he's going to produce Black ballerinas and more dancers, and it's as a mixture actually. Because growing up for me, what was so beautiful with Martin, there was no color. Yeah, there was no color.
That's important.
There's either good or bad. Yeah, it was very black and white.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's really good. Because like sometimes it's like, especially like, ballet is more for white, and you say you don't have the technique, or you have to be really good to be in a company. I'm like, no, but we as a dancer, Black dancer, we have really good technique as well, so we can do prints and we can do prints. And I remember even when I have my podcast with Derek, he said to me like, I I knew you could do some prince role. And I was like, but even if I didn't believe in me, I was like, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. So, and I did it. My first prince role was Nutcracker. You know, sometimes people have that, like, they don't believe in that. It's just about technique. But it's good that he say black and that, you know? There is no...
Yeah, there's no color. I mean, you know, right now we are grappling with this whole thing, the ideology of black excellence. So for me, personally, that doesn't exist really.
Yeah.
Excellence is excellence. It doesn't have color.
Yes.
You know, so I really appreciate that about Martin. I mean, most of his dances were predominantly black, you know, but it wasn't something that we fixated on. It only became a thing or something that was focused on much later in my career, you know, where I would go to a lot of interviews and people say, how does it feel to be the first black ballerina? I'm like, I'm not the first anything, you know, because, you know, how do I know about the person back in our struggle in apartheid who was oppressed and had to be pancake to be pale?
Yes.
To look like the Caucasian counterparts, you know. There definitely was someone there, you know, so that would be considered black.
Yeah.
And I can't now stand here in the 20th century and say that, you know, I'm the first black ballerina. No. I can't own that title.
Yeah.
No. I'm not the first black anything.
Yeah.
You know, so I appreciate people acknowledge me as such, you know. But it's a pedestal that I feel like, you know, it belongs to someone else. And we don't know the history as yet. You know, and I'd like to pride myself in my achievements, you know, but I'm just not the first black anything, you know, because for me, I'm driven by being the master of your craft, black or white, people, it doesn't matter, because excellence is excellence.
That's good. That's good. I mean, but you always, I think you have to earn some history there as well, because, you know, like I say, you've been making difference in South Africa for black ballerinas, and I think that's really important for everybody to know and for you to acknowledge as well, even if you don't want to, because like many people say, I want to be like Kitty, you know. And I remember when we were at Jebu Ballet, like all the black kids in the school, they were, oh, Kitty, you know. And that's really important for the new generation to have that. Yeah, that's good though. But Kitty, let's start, like, how was your, you say you come from family that two brothers are karate.
No, actually, it's just everything we did. If my brothers built cars with wires, I would build with them. If they played marbles, I'd play with them. If they spun tops, I would do it with them. Bicycles, cricket, soccer, anything that boys did. You know, I only later realized that, you know, I'm a girl.
Sure.
You know, yeah. So I did everything that they did. Yeah, so I was very much of a tomboy.
So
until I started ballet.
In your beginning, how many times do you train? Like, you were training once a week, or you were training like the whole week?
So how Martin did it, I mean, if I remember correctly, we started with one class a week, and then he would choose specific people to come to 2 times a week, and then he would choose specific people to 3 times a week. Then after, it became every day, including Sundays as well. So it was quite a hectic schedule. So we finished school at 2:30, so we'd be with him from 3 o'clock until 8 every day. And then Saturday and Sunday would be with him from 7:30 until 8. Sure. 7:30 in the morning until 8. And repeat the same thing on Sunday. So the moment I chose ballet, I committed myself. And I guess, you know, what I also appreciate, because, you know, our parents work very hard, they work long hours, and one would mistake it as absent parents. And for me, I just appreciate the fact that our parents, as a collective of girls and boys that come from the township, trusted this one person, you know, Martin, to make something of us. So for instance, if we're at home and we're not at ballet, Mom would pick up the phone, Martin, why is Kitty?
Why is Kitty at home?
She's not supposed to be at ballet. And then right there and then you realize when you're older that our parents understood, you know, because Martin had a vision. We just had to share the same vision with him and trust in the process.
That's amazing. And how many people were with you in the beginning?
So eventually Martin, I think, started with 60 kids at my school. And
Really?
then eventually cut it down to about 10 and then became 8. Yeah. And then obviously, as time went, because he started off with us at Orange Grove Primary, and those were kids that predominantly came from Alexandra Township. And then he also went to Germiston, Arecha Park. He went to Bosmont as well. So he really believed in a communal way of training dancers, because he also understood the science, the mathematics, and the physics of how to build a black body.
Sure.
You know,
that's really important. Hey?
Yeah. So for me, he also made it clear that a black body versus a Caucasian body, a black body is more facilitated actually than a Caucasian body.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, but because it is known to be a westernized art form, of course, it would look supposedly aesthetically pleasing to a more Caucasian body.
Okay.
But if you look at when I say facility, I'm talking about flexibility, range as well. But what always the crossroads that we used to meet as a black body was the feet. The feet are not as flexible as a Caucasian skeleton of feet. You know?
Wow.
But now we have come to a new age where the black body has everything, including feet.
I
mean,
wish
today,
it could be there.
yeah. But like today, I mean, I've got my school and I see kids who are more
Really?
mobile on the
good.
ankle joint, which is really, really amazing. So I really appreciate that about Martin.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's really good. And then after you started with Martin, so you say for how long you've been with him?
So I started at the age of 9. And then we continued with him into a youth company.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I proceeded to high school. And I think when I was 17, the company became professional. So I was a professional at the age of 17 as a principal dancer at his company, Ballet Theatre African. Wow. So the principal dancers were, Yolandi was a senior principal.
Okay.
Yolandi Olkers.
Yes,
and then the principals were myself, Teresa, Lorna Maseko, and Kristen Wilson.
Lorna was there as well.
Yeah.
Lorna.
Yeah,
oh,
Lorna
wow.
Maseko was one of the principals. Yeah.
Sure, that's amazing. That's really amazing. And the company was like a pure classical, or you guys did contemporary, neoclassical? Well, how was the style of the company?
Man, when I speak about Ballet Theatre African, I speak with a heavy heart. Ballet Theatre African was way ahead of its time. Yeah. In terms of an international standard, we were on par, you know, because Martin was such a visionary. So we covered the likes of classical first. We were classically trained, pure classical. And then we did neoclassical and contemporary.
So you have everything.
Yeah, obviously we did Spanish dancing and he exposed us to so much more Greek dancing as well. We did a bit of that. But the company predominantly focused on 3 styles: classical, neoclassical, and contemporary. So also we were so ahead of our times that what companies are doing today, for instance, you don't find companies doing full classical ballets.
Yeah.
You find that, you know, people do triple bills. They'll do an exit of a pure classical ballet, then they'll do a neoclassical, then they'll do a contemporary. That's how we used to work as Ballet Theatre African. But unfortunately, due to funding, the company had to close down.
Yes, that's always money is the problem too.
Until I was 25. I think I was 25 when the company closed down, and then I joined Dirk Badenhorst.
Then you joined.
Yeah,
then we're gonna get there. Yeah, it's really bad that, like, even with David, that and Dear as well, they were telling me that the government closed the company, not because they were nice, talented dancer, or because they couldn't find it, and that's really bad, because, you know, like, how you going to maintain the culture in dance to the people if you close your own theaters and stuff like that. And it's really bad to hear that. But I mean, now everything is running again, and finally we have something that people can go to the theater and sit and say, okay, let's see this type of ballet, you know. And yeah, so tell me, so you joined then Mzansi Ballet, no?
Yeah, Mzansi Production.
So how was the beginning there in Mzansi Ballet?
Mzansi Production,
Mzansi Production, sorry.
Yeah, it was Mzansi Production at that time.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
So, I mean, sure, I was unemployed for some time. I think I was unemployed for 6 months after Ballet Theatre African closed down officially. So, man, I was out of shape.
Really?
Yeah, it was horrible. I was out of shape, bit pudgy, you know, a bit heavy. So I hadn't worked for a while. But also, I gave up completely
Really?
because Ballet Theatre African was such a home. I got so much from Ballet Theatre African, you know. And Martin's still my father to this day, you know, even though he's based in Israel.
Yes.
But then I heard about Mzansi Productions, and then I picked up the phone and spoke to people, and this one connecting to this person. And then I ended up at Mzansi Productions. And then I think one of my first meetings, I think it was with Esther Nasa, I think. And I think Dirk was also there. They're like, you know, you're a bit on the heavy side, so we want you, you know, to tone down. And I was like, well, that's understandable. I haven't been dancing for a while, so that was going to be my main focus, you know, just to get back to my body, you know. So yeah, and then it was really a beautiful journey with Mzansi Productions because, you know, you come from a place where I was a principal, and then I joined Mzansi Productions. We were all the same. It was a company of soloists, which is really, really something so beautiful, you know. And I really, really had a good time at Mzansi Productions because I think we were predominantly a contemporary company. And then there was a flip of a coin and things changed.
Everything changed, no?
Yeah. And that's where you guys came because Mzansi Productions was going to do Don Q.
That's when we came there with the school, no?
Yeah. That's
but before us, they were first group that came to do like a gala. I don't know if you remember them.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, I remember. My God, sure. There's stuff that I don't remember. There's a lot of stuff that I don't remember.
All of my friends, Josue, Aria Molina, Dayesi.
Oh my gosh, you got such a good memory. I don't remember some of these things, like jarring my memory. But yeah, the one that comes clear to mind was when it was announced that we were doing Don Q. I was quite excited because I come from a classical background.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I haven't done classical in a long time though. But what's very important is that the foundation of our day is a classical class.
Yes.
You know, which was that made me happy because I was very concerned about that going to a contemporary company, am I going to get my classical warm-up class every day, still be able to put on my point shoes? And I got that.
Yes.
You know, in the company, they insisted on that. So I was very happy. Already, the glass was half full for me. So when it came to Don Q, I mean, I had a huge conversation with myself that, you know, ballet stamina is different from contemporary. Ballet stamina is different. And also you've got different muscles. So now you have to get your muscles to
work differently.
Work differently. So Don Q was, for lack of a better word, man, it was... It was hard to get ready for, you know.
And then especially when you have the Q1 teacher, Kitty, Kitty.
But you know, to be honest, I think having Don Q as the first ballet that I did after a very long time, having the Cuban coaches really, really saved me in a big way because I understand that kind of push, you know. I'm quite serious in the studio, but having said the same thing, I joke a lot. I'll only joke a lot if my body if my body's working right and we've got all the things right and I'm well prepared.
Yes.
But if I feel like I'm not prepared, man, there's a lot of seriousness and a lot of concentration. And a lot of the Cuban coaches gave that to me. They gave that to me in a very, very big way, you know. So when you guys came through, obviously for me, I was like, man, I don't think we're gonna be at a good standard.
We were young, we were like 17, 15.
But still, it was intimidating, you know. You come in. I mean, I was I must have been 26, 27, I think, or maybe 28 when you guys came. Yeah. So it was very intimidating. But having the hardness of the coaches was really great. Yeah.
I mean, that's what Q1 methodology goes to. Like, first of all, we have discipline. And then even the Q1 methodology make you push a lot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't get pushed with the Q1 methodology, then you're going to get behind. And we have that since we were young, you know, like when we started the school, we have that pushing from the teacher. And then when you get all this even more, because then you have to apply what you learned with
maturity.
You know.
For me, when you guys came, I mean, I think to be a dancer, first and foremost, discipline and respect is paramount. So for me, it felt very familiar because I come from a very strict background. Martin's very strict.
Really?
Extremely strict. There's no room for error. You know, as I told you, the hours that we worked with Martin, very, very strict. Even in the company, the hours were long. So for me, when I came to Mzansi Production, I was like, okay, these are cool
So chill.
hours. Compared to what I used to do, they would Ballet here to
Like chill,
Africa.
yeah.
I was like, okay. But I have to instill the discipline within myself and really hold the respect very close to my heart. You know, respecting the craft, respecting myself. Because self-respect really allows you to commit yourself so effortlessly to any challenge that comes your way. So I felt like I was in familiar grounds when the Cuban coaches were pushing.
Yes.
It was really great for me. That's what I needed.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when we came to South Africa, we have that already, the pushing from the teacher. Especially, I was in my last year, and my teacher were pushing a lot because, Monia, you have to do it, you have to do it. So we are always going to be grateful for all my teachers that they push me, because I was going through like some stuff because my mom have left Cuba and I wasn't, you know, like in a really good space being by myself with my godmother. So I was kind of a lot of down, but then always they push me. So when we came to South Africa, we were like, yo, this is another country, so this is going to be fun. No, I felt like we were the same in the school. You know, you know when you go out of Cuba, first time going out of Cuba, oh, Madonna, oh, KFC, you know, we're going to have fun. Holidays, no, man.
There was no holiday.
You have to wake up, do the class, and be, you know, now you can go like, okay, I won't do class, but with then you have to be there for the class and do the class every day, the rehearsal. And, you know, that's why I love Cuban methodology. And that's why I want to teach to my students as well.
Absolutely.
You know, because I feel like, and the reason is because we don't have like we have the National School of Art, but in Cuba we have the National School of Ballet. So it's 24/7 ballet. So when you start doing ballet, you have that discipline from beginning, you know, and I want to give that to my students, but the thing is, like, they don't come every day to me. They just go to another school. Then when they come back to me, they just forgot what I told them.
Start again.
You know, it's quite difficult, and I don't want to push them in that way because then they're gonna get upset. And you know, right now the new generation is like that. Before you will say like, yeah, you have to go. You know, I don't know how many times I left the studio because my teacher, they say, get out of the class.
Sounds like me. I used to get kicked out a lot because I wasn't getting an arabesque pose right.
Yeah. I don't wanna do that because I think the generation is different. You have to sit with them and try to let them to understand the value of ballet, not making them being hard on ballet, because about this you have to make fun. You know, you have to be or you have to do ballet by fun. Otherwise, you're going to be like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore because ballet is hard. And then if you don't let the kid to have fun on the class as well, then they're just going to be like, it's fun and discipline. So that's why I want to do that with my kid. I'm getting there, but slowly.
Yeah, well, it's a very slow process now. I think we are dealing with a different algorithm. When I say algorithm, I think we're dealing with a different psyche of kids now. I think the quitting mentality is very accessible. You know, I don't have to go today.
Yeah.
Is very popular. You know, so for instance, we have to adjust to the algorithm of today. You know, 100%. So go slowly, but you go slowly, but you don't get results. So it requires a lot of patience. A lot of respect for how this little mind works today.
100%.
I think there's a massive adjustment that we have to do because I have a school myself. You know, there's a massive adjustment, you know, in terms of how we must adjust from then to today.
Today, yes.
Yeah. For instance, I'm also asking myself the question, is it a good idea that kids start dancing at 3? You know, is it a good idea? But, you know, parents want it because it's nice for the kids. But then I'm here, neither here nor there. You know, because then, okay, if a child gets starts at 3, it's good for motor skills. But then are they going to stick it out? Because chances are they're not going to get to 6. They're not going to get to 6. So then fine. Then you take a different approach. Fine, I'll take a child at the age of 3. We have fun ballet. We call it fun ballet.
Fun ballet, yeah.
But then, honestly speaking, at the age of 7 and 8, we have to start getting serious. Because what people don't understand is that for whether it's a black, white, different color body, for a girl, it's so essential to start dancing, even if it's from dot, to start dancing from the age of 7 or 8. I started when I was 9. That's considered late.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But so here's the difference between the girl and the boy. So for a girl, you have to start, I would say 9 the latest, because when the body hits puberty, the threshold for pain is very high.
100%.
You know, so, and then you get the boy who can start much later. You know, boys can start at the age of 15, as you know, and then still flourish, because the peaking age for a guy is different to a girl.
Yeah.
So for me right now, I'm grappling with that right now. And then you find that, you know, I have my class that I have on a Thursday, and beautiful kids. And I have to constantly remind myself that these kids are only 6, but they're so mature. And then you as a teacher, you can't get too excited. Can't get too excited. So you get a child with feet, with everything, you know. So you have to slow your roll. You can't work at the pace that you used to work at as a kid.
Yeah.
Because if you work too fast and get too excited as a teacher, the child will be gone by the age of, if they start with me at the age of 6, chances are they'll be concentrating on swimming.
No, and
at the age of 8.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, if you have that type of child, just like slow down, because then if you push them a lot, then the muscle won't develop it properly. And then what happens going to is, like, when they get older, they're going to start having a lot of injuries. You know, injuries. Maybe now it's different, because maybe like the body is different from what it used to be, but don't pressure too much, you know, like trust the process, and especially not for the teachers, I guess if more for the parents, that they just want to let the child dance, like be on point at night. I'm like, just wait, she just started now.
Yeah, points. I think a good age for points is 11 and 12.
Yeah. Just slow down, don't push it too much, because those feet and the toes need to be developed. So you don't. So I have some. Well, no, in my class, but I saw other school that the kid have like 8, 9, and they got on point. I'm like, but why? You know, like, what is the reason of rushing for her to be on point? There is time to be on point.
But also, Monye, I think, you know, there's a catch-22 to that. If there's an 8-year-old who started quite early and is being very well trained, and the teacher is very cautious with that child's training, I don't see anything wrong, you know, because for me, good training prevents a lot of injuries. Injuries do happen. Like for me personally, and I use myself as an example, I've been so fortunate to have the training that I had, because as you know, you spent a long time with me dancing. And I've never been prone to injuries. Like when people in the company would be having a lot of injuries, there's very few of us who would still be standing strong. You know, yes, I've had maybe, I can think of one major injury, you know, when I had a hip issue. That's about it. But other than that, I think when a teacher has a good program for a child, you know, but how many are of those kids that are able to handle the pressure at such a young age? And also the mental readiness.
But that's the thing. Don't you think like it's better to start a little bit later? Because even if you have that plan for the student to reach, I think at 8 or 9, let's say 10, it's still like earlier for the kid to be on point, because you have to think about many things to get on point. You know, because to get on point is not easy. Even for me, I have tried point shoes, and I'm like, no, this is not going to work. You know what I mean? But the kid needs to start learning how to collocate themselves, how to stand in first position, how to collocate the arms. So by the time they have that, imagine put that and plus the point shoes. That's a lot.
I mean, for me, I totally agree with you. But at the same time, you know, especially now, Monier, man, the science behind the body right now and the math behind the body if a child has an holistic understanding at the age of 8, how to hold themselves, how to work the body correctly, and now we know that the next step now is to dance on point. I'm for it. Yeah. Now it's the maintenance of the mental strength.
Yeah.
Because we're working with different bodies now. You know, like I said, you'll get 6-year-olds that are very, very mature and has a focus of an adult.
Yeah.
But for me personally, as a teacher and someone who's trying to groom young dancers, I constantly have to slow myself down. Constantly.
Really?
And not get too excited. When a child is reacting so quickly, you know, and I have to slow myself down. Like, for instance, right now, I have a 6-year-old who's so mature.
Really?
Yeah, and I have to slow myself down with her and remind myself that she's 6.
Yeah.
She's 6. And I'm like, okay, let's do develop pace a la seconde. And no, we can't do that yet. We still have to do preparation for glissade. Plié in first position, tendu a la seconde, plié and close. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
You know, and when I went to Spain, I did my degree in classical dance in pedagogy. And we have this class called pedagogy. And it's, the class is more about how to learn how to teach a student and kids, you know. And they say, like, even if you have one kid that is really good and the rest, they are not there, you have to slow down. Because
or take that child out.
Or take that child out and put it,
lesson,
you know. But it is difficult to do that because then you get excited to this one and then the other one gets behind, and you shouldn't do that. You have to put everybody together, you know, okay, let's go work on there. So maybe put this one in the center so everybody can watch that girl, like we used to do in Cuba. All the good ones were in the center bar. And not the bad one, but the slow one, they were at the side. So they were looking at us to go in like, okay, pa, pa, pa. Sometimes I was in the center, and then when my teacher was like, Moni, no, you are lazy, go back. She sent me to the other bar, you know, but that's the type of competition that we need to have between students. But it's not a really bad competition, but it's just like, okay.
It's not working today.
Yeah, no.
No.
Really, why?
I think kids are different. We are the ones that have to adjust to them.
Oof.
Yeah, we have to adjust to them.
So where is the competition when?
So for instance, for me, like, it's funny you mentioned, like, if there's a class of 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and there's one you can see that is picking up quicker, is adjusting quicker, I pull that child out and start private lessons with the child. But I'll keep others so that we are all growing at the same time. We are going at the same pace. So for me, the mind is what I'm studying of kids. Okay. And that's how I'm trying to better my skills as a teacher, because half the time I think I don't know what I'm doing. Because kids are so different now.
Yeah. No, don't feel bad. I feel the same. Yeah. Just like you have to keep going with the time, you know.
Yeah,
like,
you can't go by the book.
Yeah.
For me right now, I'm trying to rely on the science, the mathematics, and the physics right now. Yeah.
And the thing for me, like, I don't go like the Cuban methodology that you have to do it, you have to do it, you have to do it, you have to do it. No. I just sit with the kid or whoever. For example, I'm teaching Carmi and Omi. They are really good dancer from the MSAMSI Ballet school. And they're going to Cape Town for the competition. So I'm rehearsing them Flame of Paris. But for Omi, he's tall. He's like you. He's 15. I'm like, okay, let's see how it works. For me, it's different when I jump and I do all this jump that for him. So I ask him, how do you feel like doing this? Because I can give you the correction. I can give you have to go like that. But how do you feel? Because it's you the one that is going to dance, not
But also
me.
as the teacher, now we have to understand that there's a growth spurt happening. He's 15 and he's tall. There's so much he's dealing with. Coordination. I know because I went through that. You know, I was always short. Yeah. As a dancer, always short.
Really?
Yeah, Lorna. When we used to go into our exams, I used to go with Lorna and Yolandi, and they're quite medium height, whatever. And when I got to high school, what do they call it now? Grade 10. I had a growth spurt.
Really?
And then I got to grade 12 and I had a growth spurt as well. It's very painful. So these are quick conversations that you can have.
Yeah.
That, are you physically feeling okay? Are your joints okay? And also keeping communication with the parents. Has there been a growth spurt or is he gradually growing? You as a teacher as well, you can see if there's a gradual growth or it's a spurt. So it's very good that you keep that rapport with him.
Yeah.
How do you feel about doing such and such?
No.
There's a lot to consider with height.
100%, especially because, like, all I like to jump and I like to turn.
You fly.
But the sensation for me is so much different from others. There is some step that I don't do because I don't know how to get the sensation, But for example, he does it, the step that I don't do it. But I told him how to do it, so then he can apply that to him. But it's on his own that he need to find out how to do it properly, I can give you all the correction, but it's you that, okay, I'm gonna try to put my leg like that or my hips this way.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do with them, like, I don't want to give you the correction and that's how it needs to be. If the glass is blue is going to stay. No. Why do we have to do that?
Yeah, it's
if it stay blue, but I don't see a blue. Maybe I see like light blue,
It's the mind first. Yeah. It's definitely the mind first that we need to just tackle. Because if I train the generation of my students the way I was trained, I won't have any students.
That's good.
I won't have any students. Yeah,
but that's good to change their mind, So Kitty, let's change the subject now. So I want to talk about as a choreographer, because you have make many choreography, and the one that I have in mind is Carmina Burana. So how do you start the creative process for the choreography?
I don't have a creative process.
No,
I don't. Seriously, I don't. Sometimes I'll find the music. Sometimes I'll choreograph that music. I come in, literally I close my eyes and then there's stuff in my head. Yeah, and then it's the how I put it together. So a lot of the times I'll have what they call writer's block.
Yeah.
So I have steps in my head, but I think because remember what we must remember, nothing is original. Steps have always existed by the people who created them, right? It is the how you put them together makes you an individual choreographer. How you put a stamp onto the work. So that's very important for me. But to answer your question, I don't have a process. I need to go in
and do it.
Yeah.
So the actually question would be like, what make you to start doing choreography?
Martin.
Oh, really?
Martin, yeah. At a young age, yeah. So
he's encouraged you to say,
all of us, all his dancers.
Really?
Yeah, all of his dancers are fantastic choreographers. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Lorna, Teresa, Kristen, Yolandi. So it's something that he instilled from a very young age. Yeah, so we started teaching at the age of 15. Yeah, so to understand the body. So those things came together as well. So with exams as well, he instilled a lot of choreographic elements as well. So I started very, very young. So it was because of him. It's not something that I discovered on my own. I'd be lying if I said that.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I have so much respect for choreography, because I feel like you need to have that inside, Like, for example, my dad is a choreographer.
Yes,
and he say, why you don't make choreography? Because it's difficult to make choreography.
It is.
It's not easy. I don't want to go there and say, okay, let's do pam, 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 step, tendu, plie, because that's what I'm going to do.
It is.
And I didn't know that. I mean, of course, like every people say, choreographing is like you have that inside. But now he's saying that he told you all the toys.
Tools, because for me, choreography, for me personally, it's not a process as such. For me, it's understanding the bodies that I'm going to create on. So I don't go in with any expectations, right? So if I've known someone and I know what they can do, I go according to that. If I don't know you, I am going to, because I'd like to call myself a transformative choreographer.
Okay.
So if someone doesn't have any training, I will make it a point to make you look like magic through choreography. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So for me, it's about the body. It's about the mind. Yeah. It's not the choreography per se, because choreography comes to me with seeing who is in front of me. Yeah, so I'm not the kind of choreographer who's going to go home and choreograph first.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to do that because then I don't know who I'm
How
working
to-
with.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to see who I'm
The
working
person,
with.
and then
it will come in that
you-
moment. Yeah.
you flow with that person,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
No, that's so interesting. And then how Camina Burana came into your life?
Camina Burana.
Because Camina Burana is one of the
Yeah, thank you.
greatest piece that I have ever danced.
Yeah, it is
I'm gonna
beautiful
tell you
piece.
later, but because I did Camina Burana in Spain with another choreographer, I say yes, I'm in my peak. So I have Camina Burana already, but it was so much different from you. So
First and foremost, Camina Burana is a very beautiful score.
Amazing.
Very, very beautiful. And in fact, I was exposed to the music a long time ago. So Richard Koch is a composer and a conductor. He's approached me many times, even back in Ballet Theatre African days.
Okay.
So obviously when I was in Mzansi production, I think he approached, I think Dirk and him approached each other and they said, here's a project. And I was commissioned to choreograph Camina Burana through Dirk and Richard Koch because it was to a live orchestra and live choir and a live opera, 2 opera singers, yeah.
Sure.
And so that's how Camina Burana was born. And I choreographed it in 3 weeks and it's an
Really?
hour long. I'm not 3 weeks, in 1 week.
Sure.
Yes, yeah. So because Dirk
So
was
you're-
always like, Dirk was always about deadlines. The thing is,
He give
man,
you 1
if-
week and say,
yeah, if there's a flow, there's a flow, man.
yeah,
and
that's important.
it's a narrative. You know, there's a story behind it because Camina Burana means the wheel of life.
Yes.
So hence these gestures, you know, a lot in Camina Burana. All these weird gestures that we had. So for me, it was very interesting because it was a narrative piece, you know, and I love working with Richard. And I appreciate the fact that Dirk brought this as an opportunity, you know, and how it came out, how I managed to choreograph it in a week, I don't know. Yeah. And it's a piece that's about, I don't know, just under an hour.
Yeah, it's quite long.
Yeah.
It's not short
So and it kept on
choreography,
growing every year. And believe it or not, when it comes to Camina Burana, I prefer the first draft of Camina.
Really?
Which is when we performed it at the Linda Auditorium.
Yes,
no
I saw.
lighting,
Yeah, I saw that one.
2 panels of mats
I saw that
and
one.
a full choir and orchestra.
That was beautiful.
And just costumes. Dirk and I fought a lot, man. We
Back and
we
forth.
disagreed a lot. We butted heads on Camina Burana, but at the end of the day, you know, it came together very beautifully, you know. And we butted head not for choreography, for silly things, costumes and the like rehearsal schedules and stuff like that. But yeah, how Camina Burana came together, the company just received it so well. You know, the original cast that I worked with, it was a gift.
Was Gray, Angela,
Yeah, it was
Michael.
great. Yeah.
all the-
Michael,
yeah.
who else?
Lindy.
Yeah. So it was really beautiful. I mean, there was also what people don't know, which is like breaking the rules a bit. There's a scene called the Tarvin scene.
Yeah, the Tavern scene.
Yeah. So I hit a writer's block when I had to choreograph that scene because the music like boom, 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 and I was like, I'm not sure about this music. So I asked the dancers to
see what happened.
to drink alcohol a bit. But I did ask. I said, who'd be willing to drink alcohol? And you know, I mean, this is a podcast. I'm allowed to say,
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't drink alcohol, so I don't know what the feeling is like. You know, I don't smoke weed. You know, so I don't know what the feeling is like. I was like, if we can, because it's a safe space, our boss is not allowed to know, but now he's gonna know.
Cut.
So I asked him, guys, if you know, voluntarily we'll make sure that it's safe that nobody gets injured. I just want to see what you do naturally when you are under the influence, so that it's believable when I choreograph it. Michael was incredible. Craig Arnold's was incredible. So they helped me a lot in terms of what the body does if you were dancing and you were under the influence, which is so wrong. I'm putting a disclaimer, it's so wrong and illegal. But we did it because I guess that's how seriously I take my choreographic skills and craft, you know. So for me to be able to portray a Tarvin scene, I needed to see movements, what they look like if a person's under the influence.
And you know, it is interesting because the one that we have in Spain, Maria Rovira is the choreographer, and she's amazing choreographer. And we have that scene as well, the tavern scene. But we didn't do that. We didn't drink anything. So, but she just wanted to, the idea that she had, because, you know, the tavern thing is more like a party and, you know, like being friendly. And what she said for us was like, imagine that you guys are in the disco. You know, the light in the disco are like really dark. You don't know with who you are dancing. So you just keep dancing, play the music and dance. And the last part, the light's gonna come on. Boom. You know, when the light come on, you go like, oh,
party's
what's
over.
going, you know, like, and some people still dancing like, oh, I saw you now. So that's what we did. That's what we workshop with, you know, like she make us to be like in the disco, and there is like very, how do you say, like very
free.
Yeah, free, you know, like you hug the person that is next to you, like,
it was very human.
You know, it was very human. And that's interesting because I didn't know that many people think about tarring, about that, you know.
Of course, yeah, you've got to.
And I think that the poem is give you that vibe, you know, and
So for me, it was interesting because I had to meet, you know, party being under the, I think for me, for Tarvin, I wanted to portray people being under the influence, having a fun time, but portraying the lines and showcasing the choreographic skill as well, vocabulary, you know, creating vocabulary in a very peculiar way, because I'm very inspired by, you know, the European style, you know. So yeah, I tend to watch a lot of videos as well. Well, I guess another process is that I watch a lot of my favorite choreographers talk, speak. It's not necessarily that you watch a lot of stuff, a lot of dancing. I like to listen to how they talk, to what they process, like the likes of.
And it's valuable because look, it makes you go one of the amazing choreographers.
Well, I try. Thank you. Like the likes of, you know, Mats Ek, Kilian. Those are good. Of course. Maurice Bijar. So I like to listen to a lot of their processes as well. So yeah, it was an interesting ballet.
And you define Carmina Burana because Carmina Burana have like a different style of dancing. So after you did Carmina Burana, you say, okay, this is my style, or you knew that style that you put in Carmina Burana is yours?
I'm very true to my style. Yeah. I already know what my style is.
You already knew that. Okay. Because that style is so different.
Yeah.
Like, I remember all these things, pom, pom, pom. In some choreography in Spain with my dad, I have Tokyo style a little bit. Because I think it's so interesting the way that your body break from nothing, you know, like it's not like podebra, popo. It's just like podebra, pum, pum, you know, like all the thing, like it's amazing. I love it.
It's cool to break like classical lines, you know, because I think the classical background feeds all of us.
Yes.
In terms of being creative or being choreographers as well. So I love that. I think my style, I call it boneless. It's a boneless style. So for me, I always say, the first thing I say before I choreograph anything, imagine that you have no bones in your body and you must just be juicy. That's, as you know, I always say, you have to be very juicy. So for me, that's very much my style, you know. And I like to watch a lot of hip hop videos as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I have some,
bars and stuff like that. Yeah, it's very, very nice.
Sure.
And I try to incorporate that with the classical style because, like, I incorporate that with my European influence as well, you know, because I love NDT, I love Scapino, I love Itzikali, I love Dresden. You know, these are companies that I really look up to. I love their style as well. So I'm very influenced by that,
Sure. And you have made another choreography after Carmina Burana, or?
The last work I did.
I think the Jobu Ballet was, no?
It was. It was the Wakanda Lives.
Please talk about that.
Yeah. Sure. That ballet, because when Joburg Ballet collaborated with TBW South Africa, you know, they did a lot of the breaking stories, dealing with the social ills. Remember when Game of Thrones came through? We did something. gender-based violence, the LGBTQ community celebrated that as well. I did something with Claudia for the short Breaking Story. And then they wanted us to focus on Black Panther. So they asked me to choreograph for that Breaking Story as well for TBW. So I did that trio with Claudia, Monique, and I think, myself. I forgot. So that got a lot of traction. It trended a lot. And then I also did the rain dance as well through that TBW. So it was that whole collaboration. So I guess it got a lot of traction. And the company thought that, let's make it a ballet. You did so it. And I did the ballet, a full-length ballet.
I saw the trailer was really interesting, like very Wakanda.
So sometimes as a choreographer you can't always be the same. You've got to stay true to your style. My style, I stayed true to my style, but because it was a narrative, I also had to branch out a bit more and be uncomfortable. Because at the same time, I was busy with Standard Bank Young Artists. Okay. I'd just been awarded Standard Bank Young Artist. I was choreographing something. That was in 2019. I was
here.
So I was choreographing something and collaborated with Nduduzo Makatini. That for me is my highlight. One of my biggest highlights since 2019. Yeah. Sure. So the last time I choreographed would be Wakanda and going back to the truth of space with Nduduzo Makatini. Yeah.
Sure. That's amazing. And I want to ask you something, like, how do you see the evolution of contemporary dancing like in a few years? Because I always have this argue with people. There is a fine line between acrobatic contemporary and contemporary dance. So please.
Can I be honest? At the moment, I'm a bit sad about that though. At the moment, especially in our country.
We are together.
Yeah, we are together in our country. I almost, because of what I am experiencing and seeing, I think at the moment, and I think it happened by default, I've kind of like taken a break from content because I feel like that's lost. And I hope I'm not offending anybody.
No.
I feel like that's lost completely. So it's also maybe that's why I haven't created in so long, because there's the expectation that it should be tricksy. But I know I'm true to myself. Yeah. And I've been asked to choreograph a lot, and I'm happy to say no. Yeah. Because will people accept what I'm true to, my style, which is my style, which is the likes of so many works that I've created. So I'm kind of sad about what I'm seeing, like the competitions. I mean, you talk about Cape Town, you talk about all these different competitions. I mean,
and Cape Town is the less one, hey? When you see all this competition in Johannesburg, it's like, my thing is like, I don't have nothing against acrobatic contemporary. That's okay. But what's the message that we are sending to the new generation? That to win a competition, you have to do like big tricks. And where is the dancing?
There is no dancing.
Where do we put the dancing? Because I know contemporary, you have to feel free. It's whatever you feel.
But there's a technique, Moni.
Yeah.
So tricks are not, like for me, yes, for me now, we are either branching from gymnastics and then we incorporating a bit of dance. So you can't call it acrobatic contemporary. For me, I'm feeling that we are branching between gymnastics and dance. Putting tricks together through dance movements, and then doing another trick and putting a dance step to segue one trick to another, to link one trick to another with a dance step. Yeah. So I'm a bit saddened by what I'm seeing at the moment.
Imagine in ballet we have acrobatic, and we have that. I do like acrobatic ballet sometimes, but I remember when I went to Korea for some competition, the Korean international competition, I did Diana Ngaiten. Diana Ngaiten is a powerful variation for male dancer. And this lady came and she said, "Thank you so much for doing a beautiful Diana Ngaiten." I was like, what do you mean?
Because it's so tricksy these days.
Yeah.
It's not traditional,
And I have 540.
Yeah.
I have Jetan Tunan. I have all of that. But you say,
it's straight true.
Was tricky, but
Traditional.
Sometimes I feel like that's why sometimes I don't post any more video on Instagram, because everybody goes big jump. I'm like, but where in what ballet are you going to do that? Unless you're doing a variation, Diana and Action, but even that, doing that just like too much for the eye. It's like jumping, and you never stop. So that's my thing with contemporary. Why do we have to say to the student that to win a competition or to be beautiful, you have to do tricks?
I think it's what's going on today. It's part of us moving with the times. Like I can say, fortunately, I mean, I've done international competitions, like it's come out of my ears. And, I'm so grateful that it was at a time where contemporary was contemporary, classical was classical, neoclassical was classical. Everything was kept quite traditional and in the technical aspects. I respect gymnastics. I respect rhythmic gymnastics because it's got its own technique and its own muscle type, its own body type. So all these, because we are considered professional athletes.
100%.
And to be a soccer player, I respect it. I respect all these different sports, So for me, I feel like we need to differentiate what's what. And I think the lines are a bit blurred a bit. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm just very fortunate that things were more traditional. And I think now we as... I think our careers are coming closer to an end now. But I'm adjusting to the times. I'm adjusting to the times because then I don't want to be the enemy of progress.
Yes.
So we have to adjust to the times and see what's going on, because unfortunately this is what the dancers are offering in competition. I don't think competition establishments say you have to do tricks. I think it's what kids are coming with to these establishments. No, I mean, we have to keep it with the with the vibe. Yeah, we have to move with the vibe.
So Kitty, to move on, what did mean to you? I don't want to say like the black woman to do Dying Swan, but how was for you to do the first Dying Swan in South Africa?
Again, it all roads lead back to Martin. We had actually come back from the Prix de Lausanne, and that's when the birth of the Dying Swan started, essentially. I didn't know he was cooking this up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know. Because I remember seeing black swans when we were taking a promenade in Lausanne. And I was like, okay, cool. I've never seen a black swan before. And that was that we parked at. And then years went. Then Martin birthed Dying Swan. And obviously, Dying Swan is done in a white tutu, pink tights, pink point shoes.
Yes.
And Martin just said, you will be the black Dying Swan.
Sure.
I didn't know that it was going to create such an impact. So hence I'm saying the beautiful things that Martin is such a visionary. He was so ahead of his time. I didn't know it was going to make such an impact.
And it
in
did,
the dance industry in Russia as well. I didn't know. I
remember you went to Russia to do Dying Swan.
Yeah,
yes.
I just trusted in the process. I trusted him.
But you knew that it's going to be like...
No, I didn't know.
Like...
I didn't know.
Because for example, you say, no, Dying Swan, black Dying Swan, it's going to make any difference, but...
Yeah, because when I started, Martin made me watch Natalia Makarova.
Yeah.
Because that's the version that we started off with, and she's still one of my favorite ballerinas. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful ballerinas now, but, I believe, the likes of Makarova, Sylvie Guillaume, Letitia Muller, Darcy Basil. I don't think there'll be many dancers like that today, but there's beautiful dancers out there. I'm quite traditional, as you said. When Martin made me watch the video, I was like, this is so beautiful. So to answer your question, I really didn't know. I appreciated the process of Dying Swan. I appreciated what it's meant to my people in this country.
Please.
I've appreciated what it's meant internationally. I didn't know it was going to get this big. I didn't know. What I appreciate, I just have so much gratitude to the gravitas that it's had. To this day, Monier.
Yeah.
To this day.
No, and I'm so happy to bring that up, because when you did it, when was the last time you did it? I think it was 2015. Huh?
Well, I did it recently. I did it last year, actually, for Gary Makoma's 50th legacy celebration. But essentially, I think the first time you saw me do it was when the company merged.
Yes.
When we did, when we were now Mzazi Production into South African Ballet Theatre, into Joburg Ballet. Yeah. So yeah, I think the last time I did it was last year.
Because for me, it was when I saw it, we knew about Dying Swan, you know, because it's being made by many dancers, but not for a black dancer. And I was like, this is going to. I was young. I didn't, you know.
I didn't know either, because I was told that you know, I think the whole first black thing came through when I went to Russia, because I spent a very long time in Russia, and it was said, you know, in one of the tabloids that I'm the first black ballerina to do the Dying Swan.
Yeah.
You know, in Russia.
Even in Spain, my dad told me, hey, who is this girl that is doing the Dying Swan?
I didn't know.
Spain?
So that's where I can say, yes, I was the first black ballerina to do the Dying Swan in Russia. So for me, then it was blown out of proportion. First black ballerina. I was like, no. Let's not get it wrong. Yeah, so I didn't, you know, I just appreciate the impact that it's had, Moni. Really, I do.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, to this day. So and I owe all my gratitude to Martin, because he birthed the whole idea.
Yeah. I think I saw Martin one with Wajibu Ball as well. Like he was with his bag and his dog.
Yes, he gave the company a workshop. Yeah.
And then I saw him walking, and then I asked someone else, and who is that? He said, that's Kitty's teacher and Tori's as well. I was like, oh, okay. And then we did the workshop, and there was like,
not many people liked him because he was always doing good work.
No, but the thing is, like I said, now I'm older, but I wish I could go back to those days, because I could take more from those people, you know, and for everybody.
I mean, to the black child, I think you're always ready. Ballet is for us, it's for the world, and it's tangible. You know, dance is not somewhere out there. It's for us, and it's tangible. And I think respect the mental readiness of the craft. And self-respect is so important, because if you respect yourself enough, you'll respect the craft and the person who is mentoring you into flourishing into the craft, and always be in pursuit of being the master of your craft.
Sure. That's powerful.
That's right.
That's really powerful. Yeah. Especially for my kiddies one, the one that I have, that I'm going to show them this, because it's really powerful. That's right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Kitty. Thank you. It was a really good
I
chat.
speak too much.
No. It was amazing. That's what I wanted, you know, like I want to have something that people will see it and be like, okay, now I want to work like Kitty. I want to go to Russia and be another Dying Swan, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, honestly, like, you know, I mean, I'm 41 now and I'm still dancing and nearing, you know, when I have to retire. And it's amazing that from then to now, how interesting the body works with so much intel and maturity, you know, and I'm appreciating that so much, you know, because then people are like, but you can't dance until you're old. Well, it's how you deal with it mentally. And it's interesting and it's amazing how the body has changed. It's crazy, but I think, it's time, man.
Good.
It's time to pass on to the next people. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story and inspiring the new generation. Thank you so much. So thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Free Dance Podcast. I hope you really liked this show. It was amazing. And remember to subscribe, like, and follow in all social networks. Thank you, and I see you for the next one. Bye.